Hello, everybody. My name is Sophie, and welcome to another episode of the Bookhater Club podcast. We are here today, gathered together, with a microphone in my hand. Yes, I know, guys. I've been hiding this from you. I have to say, it's much more comfortable to just use the camera audio, but I will be talking shit today, so just all right off the start. And I feel like I'm obligated to use the microphone. And I have to step my game up a little bit, right? And I just think it looks cool when people use microphones in their videos. I kind of wanted to do it myself. I have to be honest. I also wanted to look cool. Sign, still not on. Don't worry about it. I know it's off. Okay, before I get a comment, it's broken. I need a new one. So, that being said, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will give you a little overview about the topics we're talking about today, and this episode might be a little bit longer. I might have underestimated how much there is to talk about. Yeah. There will be timestamps in the description. If you want to skip to a certain topic and don't want to hear about the others, you can do that. I'm not mad at you. We will be talking about Lightlark today. Ugh. I do not want to speak about it anymore. Isn't it dramatic if I put the mic? Is this not so dramatic? We'll be talking about Lightlark. More specifically, the third book. I want to say sequel, but what's the third book? The thirdquel. The thirdquel of the book. Alex Esther, there was also some false news spread in my comment section that I want an apology for regarding the third book. Then we'll be talking about Maxton the new show on Prime. The new show on Prime because, guys, if you didn't know, it's German. And as your resident German, I have to talk about it. I have to make a statement about it, and you guys will be surprised about what I say. Because you only know me as the book hater. But am I also the show hater? We'll find out together. And then my last topic, I'll be talking about some drama that happened at the beginning of May. Now it's already the beginning of June. Sorry, I'm busy, guys. I have exams. I said in my last video, I'm a little bit inconsistent at the moment because of my exams, but don't worry about me. I did a lot of research for this video too. That's why it took a little longer. Because usually my podcasts are they're a yap fest. All of my videos are. But with my podcast, I usually try to make it like a literally just yapping video, if you know what I mean. Like, I literally just sit down and I talk, and that's it. But for this video, I had this how do you say this? Gedankenblitz. How do you say? This realization, that's not strong enough for what I want to say. I had a thought bolt, is what I try to say. Gedankenblitz, thought bolt, that why not step it up a little bit? I say as the sign is off. Also, I put on fake nails. I'm going to a concert later. Ugh, I'm so busy, guys. And I put on fake nails, and I don't want them to look good close up, but from far away, I want people to be like, okay, she's put together with her nails. And then I curled my hair, and I burned off the tip of my nail. Don't worry about it. What am I going to talk about last? I can't say right now. There was a drama that happened at the beginning of May with a very famous booktoker and booktuber. I cannot say his name. You will have to find out when you get to the section, because I can't take the heat and I don't want his minions to come for me. And so I will also be using an alias in this video. It's a drama where someone in the sphere, an influencer, replied to a video on book. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Barely anyone talked about it, but some people did. So they saw a video. He saw a video of someone, an author, the author of The Kissing Booth. Yes, I know. The author of The Kissing Booth saying that she has written 3 books in 4 months. And then he felt compelled to make a video saying, with peace and love, I'm not going to read your book if you write 3 books in 4 months. If you're going to write 3 books in 4 months, I'm not going to read it. Because he's British. And then I did a deep dive on this person. So it will be a deep dive on a booktoker. Sorry, I had flashbacks. I've been on a gossip forum for most of the past few days, so we'll talk about it later, right? But that's what we're talking about, this drama. Because you're gonna say, okay, Sophie, you always say, what do I always say? You hate when people publish multiple books in 1 year. Yeah, I do. So you have to stay tuned what I say about the situation. if I agree or disagree. Okay? But firstly, I want to thank my members. Guys, big alarm. Wee-oo. We have 30 members. 30. Oh, I have to talk into the mic. 30. I really want to get a Bluetooth microphone, but I feel like it looks a little silly when I have a little like clip here, and I always need to wear something that I can clip. Sorry, I'm sweating my ass off, right? June, am I right, guys? Ugh. I wanted to talk about my members. We have 30 members now. Thank you so much to all of my members for joining, for staying with me through this hardship of exam season. I appreciate it very much. I know it's annoying that I'm not posting, and I do want to post more, and I am excited for summer to post more. And I think I thought about this a little bit now that I have 30 members. I don't want to read out all of the names every video because it would be taking up 30 minutes. No, but it takes a long time. So I'm going to put the names up because as a shout out, and when we get a new member, then I'll shout them out. And we did get a new member, and that is Case. Okay. I don't know if that's your real name. I feel like it's funny because the other day, meaning my last video, I talked about Den of Vipers. And in Den of Vipers, there's a character called Case. And then I got a member called Case. So I feel like the universe aligned for me. Thank you so much for joining. I love you. That's my confession. I love you. My members get my videos a day early, including this one. Yeah, they do get my members. Now you get my videos a day early. They also get to vote on my reads. So whenever I'm reading a book, it's because of them. And I actually have to do a poll still. I haven't started reading anything new, and it's been deliberate because I don't want to read. The booktuber that doesn't want to read. No, really, I don't have the time to read right now, but I do need to make videos. So there's going to be a poll with Powerless, Neon Gods. I think God of Malice is also a dark romance ass book. One Dark Window is the third option, the fourth option. And I'm leaning towards Powerless, I have to be honest. Like, I haven't read a fantasy in a long time, but my members get to decide. They get a shout out. They get peace and love. They get cool stickers, and they get my eternal peace and love. My eternal peace and love. Yeah. So, thank you to all of my members. Feels weird to not say every name. Thank you to all of my members. And let's get into the video. Shall we? Let's talk about the lightlark thirdquel first. What is the third book called? Final installment? I hope it's the final installment. Don't put out any more books because, you know, Alex Esther, or maybe you don't know, Alex Esther is the author of Lightlark. It's the book that went really viral. This is so hard for me to say. The book that went very viral. There you go. Otherwise, I would have just said it with a very heavy German accent on TikTok like 2 years ago now. And then she got a book deal after not getting a book deal for like 50 million years because no one wanted to publish this book. But since she went viral... Why is viral such a hard word for me to say? Oh my god. In German you say viral. So it's not that different. Bitch. And then I read the first book. Alex Esther is the reason I monetized. Love you for that, Pookie. Anti-Pookie. She's the anti-Pookie. That sounds like the Antichrist. That's not what I mean. Anti-Pookie is what I mean. And I read the sequel. And I think I also got a lot of views on that. Love you, Anti-Pookie. And I had an interaction with her on TikTok, but she is on my hating list. She's very high up there. She's really annoying to me. She also does marketing for her books on TikTok, and she will film the same video over and over again with different quotes. I will show you later. I will show you on my phone because I don't know. It's too much work to put video up on screen. That's kind of awkward if I'm sitting here and there's like a video playing and I can't see it, you know what I mean? So I'll show you on my phone. But there will be a lot of pictures today, later on, guys. So you will have to look at the screen if you want to. The final book in the Lightlark trilogy is Skyshade. Now, I am saying it's the final. She hasn't said it's the final book, I don't think. I'm saying it's the final book because there were mean comments, false news spread in my comment section under my last video where I said I'm going to talk about this. And people said, oh, she's actually doing more you know who you are. She's actually doing more books than these three. People are seeing a pattern because, as we remember, Lightlark is an island where rulers fight to the death to break a curse. They broke the curse, guys. Spoiler. Thank God they did. And the islands have, or like the realms have different names. Skylings. Oh, I don't remember. Fuck, guys. Go watch the videos again. If you've watched them, go watch them again. I can't watch myself again. I see that I'm really loud. I don't, this is the first time. You have to give me some grace with the microphone. It's my first time holding it, so I don't really know how to. I know that I'm loud, but I want to be loud enough for you guys, so it's just turn it a little bit down if I'm too loud. Okay, sorry. And the first one was Lightlark, which is the island, and then the second one was Nightshade, which the Nightlings. Ugh, I don't remember the Nightshade. Is it called Nightshade? This doesn't make any fucking sense. Isn't it called Nightshade and the last book is called Skyshade? What the fuck is she doing shipping all these fucking islands? I don't remember, guys. I genuinely don't remember the layout of the world, and I don't want to. I have to remember other things, so some things have to be deleted. But people said, oh, she's using titles with all of the realms, and there's like 6 realms, I think. And so people were assuming that she's gonna do 6 books because they're all dedicated to a realm. She's not doing that, guys. Peace and love. She hasn't said this anywhere, and I'm just now making the statement that she's not doing it. I forbid it. I will physically stop her. If she announces a 4th book, I will not let it happen, guys. Don't worry about it. Oh my god, I cannot do it. I'm reading the 3rd book, guys. Beware. I'm coming for her ass on her 3rd book because, I have so much to thank her for with the monetization and everything. She's made my life so much better. My anti-Pookie. That doesn't give her any grace. I'm not giving her any grace. I have to read the last book. So, I hope everybody apologizes to me who made this claim in my comments because I got really scared when I read it. And it's coming out in November, in case you're wondering. So in November it's okay, what is November? What the fuck are we talking about? Nightshade. No, Skyshade. Whatever. Skyshade is coming out in November, and then I'm very certain actually Sarah J. Maas is gonna announce another book for next spring, but before that, Fourth Wing 3 is coming out. I've been getting so much Rebecca Yarok. I'm not going to talk about her. Rebecca Yarok has been on my For You page so much. But first, I want to talk... No, I'm not going to talk about Rebecca. Don't worry about it. I would have announced already. I want to talk about my favorite quote that Alex Esther tried to market her book with. She does the same book over and over, and not the same book, well, yeah, the same book, but also the same quotes over and over again. She made a video saying, I'm gonna get you to read, and the thing is, like, you try to get me to read your series by using quotes from the last book in it? Shouldn't you market the first book in the series? Anyway, it's my favorite one. I don't know if this is funny to anyone else, but she says... When he says, I love you, but the villain in my book said... And she also did a TikTok where she read this out. That was funnier to me. If choosing you over the world is wrong, then please do consider me a villain. If waging a battle for one woman is a crime, consider me a... criminal. A criminal. He robbed the fucking bank. What the fuck? Are we in a criminal? Who in a fantasy says, that is a criminal? Mama, I'm in love with... It continues. If loving you is my downfall, consider me already on my knees. Again, Alex Esther doesn't know how to write. She just uses quotes and puts them in her book and then tries to fill the blanks in between with plot. But she doesn't know anything. She just knows these quotes that she wants to have in it to do TikTok marketing. And honestly, like, she gets a lot of views. I'm going to show you the... how she markets her book over and over again, and all of these have like over 50,000 likes, I think, all of these videos. And I'm gonna read out one of them to you, what she does. She goes, enemies to lovers? How about enemies to lovers, where she tries to kill him the first time she meets him, and even though he's the villain everyone's afraid of and they're rivals in a deadly game, he becomes obsessed with her, so obsessed that he refuses to heal the scar she gave him right next to his heart, starts calling her heart, and kills everyone in a room because one of them dare touch her. You know what? I'm not reading all that. Sorry that happened, or happy for you, either one, but I'll show it to you now, okay? It's really funny to me. Pay attention. It's never ending. Do you want to see it again? I'm going to show you again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In a row. I was going crazy. Alex. My Pookie. Stop! Please. I can't do this anymore. You know those TikToks where you're like, that's me right now. When I saw that she announced the third book, I was like, oh my god. And also another reason I don't think she's gonna do another book in the series is because I think I saw this on her Instagram. Let me see if she maybe has a highlight. I didn't think of screenshotting it because I didn't see these vile accusations in my comments at the time. But she said something about that she sold Lightlark as a 2-book series originally, and that the third one was just sold like a year ago, which is when the second one came out. She sold, or like a year and a half ago, like before the second one came out, she made a deal with her publisher that it could be 3 books. She doesn't have a highlight, but you just have to trust me then. You just have to trust me that she posted that, and if I had seen these accusations before, I would have screenshotted it to prove it to you guys, but you know I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. I try not to lie, at least. It's a sin, so, you know. That's all with Alex Aster. I don't really know what to say. You'll hear me talk about her in November. She probably won't do anything exciting before then. The most exciting. But at least there's another book coming out this year where I'm like, okay, that's gonna get views. No, but I was like thinking about it the other day. I was like, just excitement wise, because even though I hate on these books, there's a certain level of excitement that comes with reviewing them. Like, I know, okay, the next Fourth Wing book is coming out, like, I know I'll have something to do then, a certainty of what to read next, and in between that, I'm just like, you know, I don't really know what to put on the list for the members, because I don't really know what's going on in the book world, because I'm so far away from you guys, because I'm not really in it. I don't really consume bookish content, except it comes up on my For You page. I've said that before, but that being said, I'm excited for it to come out in November, just so I can hate on it. Love you, Alex. Maybe it's the best book ever. Maybe. We'll see. I'll tell you if it's the best book ever. Next up, my Pookies. You are my actual Pookies. Don't worry about it. Is Maxton Hall. I want to talk about Maxton Hall, which you have to let me know if you've watched it. I only want to talk about it because I have watched it. Yes, I have completed front to back in one day. And I always do this with shows, okay? I always binge watch them. I'm that kind of person, I'm sorry. And I actually haven't asked anyone in my life if they've watched it. I'm just now remembering. Like, did I ask my friends? No, I didn't care. Because I think it's so bad. Maxton Hall is so bad. And you're not gonna believe me when I'm gonna say next. And I love it. I love bad TV shows. Guys, I feel like I should do a podcast episode, not that anyone cares, about movies and shows. Because I am only... That's not true. I'm also critical on movies. But with TV shows, I love... The worse, the better. It's like reality TV. I love watching It's so bad. I love it. It's like... That's like the only form of content where I can be like, brain off. You know what I mean? And so with Maxton Hall... If you don't know what it is, it's an Amazon Prime original show, and it's based on the book Save Me by Mona Carsten. She's a German author. I think it came out... I actually don't know. I forgot to look it up. It's been a while. It's been out for a while. It's like a staple in the German booktok community. I knew about this book for a long time, never cared what it was about, I'm gonna be honest. There's a bunch of German booktok books that exist, and sometimes when I go to the bookstore, I look at them like, you know, who cares? But people care. And congrats to Mona Carsten, because I think I saw a post that said that this was the most viewed Amazon Prime original show, but that doesn't make sense. What was it? Maxton Hall is the most watched international original series worldwide on Prime Video ever. Shout out. Germany represent, you know, for something good for once. Not that this is particularly good. I know, I have to be honest, guys, like, it's really bad. It's filmed in German, and it's taking place in England, and this is also really funny to me because I saw a TikTok of a girl, and I'm not gonna call her out. She has like 3,000 likes on this video, but it did come up on my For You page, and she was like, guys, I just found a plot hole in Maxton Hall, and no one's talking about this. And that's the kind of thing where before making a video about it, I feel like, why don't you just Google it? You know what I mean? But I watched it. I was like, what's the plot hole? She goes on to say, did anyone notice that they're like German, but they're like talking in English? And they're like, because she was watching the English dub, because it's originally in German, and then she took the dub off, and she was like, oh my god, this isn't in English originally, this is in German, and they're like supposed to be in Oxford, and they're like writing in English. Why are they doing that? She just could not grasp the fact that this was supposed to be taking place in Britain. These characters are supposed to be British, but since it's a German production, it's in German. It's like when Mexican characters in a movie talk English instead of Spanish. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny. People were pointing it out in the comments. They were like, that's a dumbass question to ask, I'm gonna be honest. And it was a dumbass question to ask, but they're supposed to be British. A lot of German content takes place in Britain, like Ruby Red. Oh my god, guys. I am so confident. And I didn't look this up because I didn't know how to look it up, like what to Google specifically. I am pretty sure that the main dude's house, shots of that were filmed in the same location as Ruby Red. Yes, the Ruby Red, the main character's house. You know Ruby Red? I do have a movie. Oh, I didn't even mention it. My members get to watch my Ruby Red movie commentary. It's exclusive to them. I did that. And that was also a German production, and they're also supposed to be British. And no one ever gave a fuck about that. I don't really know what it is with the German and the Brits, if I'm being honest, but I'm very, very certain that the filming locations are the same, and it makes me wonder, like, do we not have any other British-looking filming locations? Do we only have this one house that we can film in? I'm not sure, but I think that it's super bad. I also think that, I know that the English version of these books is not ours, it's a trilogy, it's aus, habe ich gesagt. Okay. The first one is called Save Me. I think the second one is Save You, and the third one is Save Us. And they're not out in English. They're out in other languages, but not in English for some reason. No one gives a fuck about it, but I'm very certain they're going to be translated now because it's such a huge hit. And I love that for Mona. Mona, if you're watching this, invite me to the premiere. I will, fuck it up or something. Whatever they want me to do, I will do it. I'm very happy for everyone. I think that the dub is absolutely horrid, so if you watch it, and if you haven't watched it, and if you watch it, I would suggest watching it in German with subtitles, because the dub is horrible. I tried to, I switched over to see if, what they were doing, if they dubbed themselves. I don't know if they did. I couldn't find out if the actors did it themselves. I don't think they did. And I was in shock. I have to say, I was in shock. It was really fucking bad. It was desynchronized. I was very embarrassed to see it as a German, because of course this is now part of my culture, and I have to tell everyone to watch it. Support Germany. Season 2 is already announced officially. They're making a season 2. So if you want to watch a really bad, really basic BookTok adaptation, then I would suggest you read it. Watch it, don't read it. Do whatever you want. Who am I to say? Alright guys, are you ready to talk about our main topic for today? I hope everybody is. I have to give a disclaimer before we start talking about it. I was so deep in a rabbit hole for the past 3-4 days with this topic, because this person has been on the internet for a long time. Their name is Ek Jedwards. I don't want to say his name anyway, because he tends to look himself up and then go after people, as proven by this incident. That all of this that I'm going to talk about first is just a little bit of background, and I'm going to be talking about him and referring to him as Ben, which is his middle name. So if you want to comment if what you think about him or what you think of the situation, please also say Ben. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. I can't take the hit. What if he sends anyone after me? I'm so scared. And I also want to say that everything I said is alleged. It's my opinion. I don't think that he's a terrible person or anything. Because it kind of sounds like it, right? I'm kind of leading up to the fact that I'm going to tear him apart. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk about him and who he is and what he's done on the internet, and everything is kind of context for the situation that just happened with him calling out this author unprompted. And it kind of makes this whole thing, like, it's a bigger picture, right? And that's why I talk about everything. And if you think that he makes great content and you like him as a person and you like watching him, then I'm not gonna say, you bitch. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna be like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna say, okay, I don't care. I don't have a bone to pick with him. But he did come for long form content. He did say, wait, let me go down in my doc, because I do have a doc for this. Wait, let me scroll. There's a lot in here. It's like 10 pages. He posted on Twitter unprompted saying, you mean to tell me people are making 2-hour-long reading vlogs now? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. A feature-length film of you reading Colleen Hoover? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Please be serious! Exclamation mark. And this tweet has been deleted. Fuck you for that, Ben. Just because you don't know what to talk about for 2 hours, that's not my fucking problem if you're boring. That's the only bone I have to pick with you personally, because I love talking. And you call your broadcast channel on Instagram Yap City, and yet you are not yapping. And we'll talk about everything, because I am not making baseless accusations. But these are all alleged. I'm not trying to defame him. I don't know what he could say. I'm scared. Should I do ASMR? Can you do it with this mic? I'm not gonna do it. Don't worry about it. So, who is Ben? Ben was born on the 18th of October in 1998, which makes him 25 years old. Currently, he is turning 26 later this year. He's from Sussex in Britain, so maybe when he makes a statement, like when I quote him, I'm going to talk in a British accent, just for your fun. And he started YouTube in like 2015. He's been around for a long time. He started out as a study tuber, which are people who film themselves studying. That's another niche. I know it's niche, guys, don't worry about it. It's another niche that a lot of people enjoy. I've personally, I don't know if it's like, what makes you a study tuber? Like, what's the definition of a study tuber? If you exclusively post about you studying, maybe. But I've watched like one girl who studies medicine in Budapest, a German girly pop. I've watched some of her videos. I think she's really fun. And I only watch that because I'm interested in like what they're doing and why she's in Budapest doing it. Because she didn't get into it in Germany. Which is fine. If you have the money to go study in Budapest, that's great. I'm jealous. Yeah. So I understand the appeal of study tubers. Of course, it could be argued that they maybe push unrealistic, not expectations, but like unrealistic standards onto people, because they're of course trying to make it seem like really appealing, their life and studying and being productive. You know what I mean? But that's not my thing to talk about, because that's not me. I'm not productive. I don't study that much. I know I'm saying, oh, I can't make videos because I'm studying. It's true, but it's like I could do more. You know what I mean? He currently has 26 current reads on Goodreads. Another fact that I thought was interesting. 26 books you're currently reading. Alas, he also is self-titled as the internet's resident librarian, which is his like tagline. Like mine is bookhater. Bookhater Club. He's the internet's resident librarian, and as far as I'm concerned, he has worked as a librarian before at St. Cuthbert's Society in 2018, and I found this out on his LinkedIn. And he is not active on his LinkedIn anymore. The last time he was active was 4 years ago. So it does say on LinkedIn that he still works as a librarian at St. Cuthbert's Society. But I don't believe he does, because he doesn't go to university anymore. And wherever the fuck St. Cuthbert's Society is, it's probably attached to his university. So he did work as a librarian. But I feel like you can't just call yourself a librarian. Peace and love. Like, I had a friend once. Not anymore. Nothing happened. We're just not friends anymore. Don't worry about me. You can't worry about me. Thank you. Enough pity. And she studied, like, she had an apprenticeship for 3 years becoming a librarian. Like, it's more than just, you can't just call yourself a librarian. I feel like there's more to it. Just, anyone can work in a library probably, but a librarian is something different than working in a library. Like, you're not automatically a librarian because you work at the front desk of a library. Does that make sense? That's just it to me. Like, people have called him out for this, and I have to say, like, I think he's never worked retail. He's had a few jobs, like, social media wise, but since he's listed everything on his LinkedIn, up to 4 years ago. I don't think in the last 4 years he's worked retail, and you can really tell when people have never worked retail. For example, my boyfriend has never worked retail, and I can tell. And I think working retail should be an obligation for everyone in the world to do at least, honestly, like 1 week would be enough, but like make it 1 month. Everyone should work for retail for 1 month, just to see how it is. You know what the vibes are? You won't believe what's going on. Like, you can just tell, okay? And if someone has worked in retail, that's a green flag. If they have not worked in retail, that's a red flag. That's my opinion. But doesn't matter. It's not that deep at the end of the day. He started out as a study tuber. He also had a blog that is still up but not active anymore. And he studied at Durham University. And he did English literature, and he graduated from Durham. Oh, is it Durham or Durham? I wrote both. I think it's Durham University with a first-class honors degree, which I'm not sure what that is because I am German, but since it's honors, I think that's good. Like, I think he had a good grade graduating. And he just filmed himself studying, writing essays, and the life as at Durham University. And I think he was still studying during the pandemic, and he graduated either mid or post, like right after the pandemic ended, you know. And then he couldn't get into Oxford. If you're wondering where I got most of my information from, it's a website, and I don't know if you guys know this. This website is another level of insane. It's called Tattle Life, and the bitches on there are so fucking mean. They are so insanely mean. And the things they were writing about, there's 4 threads, 4 about Ben, just about Ben. There can be a thread about anyone. And as soon as the thread reaches like over 1,000 posts, it's closed down and a new one is opened. So you have to imagine, like, there's like 3,000 plus posts in these threads about this dude. And they are so evil in there. And they really hate his guts. They come for everything he does. Genuinely. Like, they would take everything, his unsubstantial things, like his looks, which I don't care about what he looks like. We're talking about what he does. You know what I mean? Actions speak louder than your looks. And other things where I was like, why do you care that much? But I did use those threads to just find out this background information, because it does go back to like 2019, either 2018 or 2019 is when the first thread was started. And that's where, and like, I don't know if you guys knew about this website. It's insane. I only looked at his thread. I don't even want to know what other threads there are. Like, how insane do you have to be to use that website to just hate on someone? Not even Reddit. Like, you're going on Tattle Life. What the fuck is that? Okay, so he couldn't get into Oxford. This is a huge deal for him. He applied twice for his master's. He couldn't get in. He was not good enough. While in uni, he also seemed to brag about leaving work to the last minute / finishing essays the night before, making videos on that too, like finishing my essay the night before, which is interesting. And you should, like, how do you say, we can put a pin in that for later when we talk about this recent drama, because remember, this is all leading up to the situation now. He would make content like that, okay? And he couldn't get into Oxford for his master's, and it's the only course he liked the structure of, the only master's course he liked the structure of, and I'm not sure what he wanted to get in for. It was like modern literature or world literature. But it's like really competitive, and he just couldn't get in. And he also mentioned at this time that he would like to do creative writing / screenwriting at some point and learn more about that. Then, of course, this is all during COVID. This is like 2020 still. He was disrespecting COVID guidelines. Yeah. Which I never got why the fuck you would do that. Like, just the whole wearing a mask thing. I don't know how you could get mad over that. Like, I still wear a mask today. Anyway. He published a book, okay? He published a book, and it's a self-help, I don't know if it's like, I think it's categorized as a self-help book. It's a uni book. It's called The Universe. Funny, play on words. And it's basically a collection of blog posts about advice of going to university. And I have to say, I don't really fuck with self-help books. Like, I've tried to get into them a few times in my life. But it's all like, I think it depends on you as a person, how you want to get your self-help information. Whether you want to read about it in a book, or you want to watch it in video format, or you want to talk to someone face to face, it's all dependent on you, how you like consuming that kind of content. But for me, I would rather watch a video of someone giving advice than read a book. Probably because it's free too. But he was at this point making his YouTube videos about studying and probably giving this advice for free anyway. And he had a blog, as I said, also probably giving advice on there for free. So this book was most likely just another form of, or another way for him to make money off of something that he wasn't giving out for free. He was monetized, but you know, more free to a certain level. And he allegedly said he doesn't know what else to do with applications for his master's for Oxford after getting like rejected twice, you know, because he allegedly, again, this is from Tattle Life, some things, I don't know if they're right or if they just said out of hatred or someone's just starting a rumor on there, so I have to say allegedly. He said he doesn't know what else to do with his application because he is a published author already with this self-help book. If we're going after that logic, boo-boo, Trisha Paytas is also a published author. Should she get into Oxford? Yeah. Silence is very loud right now. So very odd statement to make. They just weren't looking for him. He couldn't get in. Apparently this was something of major topic back then, that he would always talk about this. And the reason I'm saying, by the way, that he Googles himself and that I therefore don't want to say his name and mention it anywhere, like directly, is because he did make a tweet at one point during like 2020. He said, if you use Tattle Life, you're lame as fuck and a fucking loser. You heard it here first. Tattle Life is mad because I pulled down my mask to say OMG while it's nowhere near anyone in Waterstones when I saw my book in a bookshop for the first time. LOL. Get a grip, keyboard warriors. You literally hate on people all day, every day. You're so fucking lame. I have to laugh. No, I didn't do it in a British accent. I'm so sorry. I didn't do it in a British... I'm so sorry. Should I read out it? No, I'm not gonna read it out again. Don't worry about it. But there was several posts, and I mean this was like 4 years ago now, several posts where they were like, why is he at a party during COVID? Why is he in a bookshop touching books and then putting them back during COVID? Pulling down, like wearing a mask and then pulling it down to speak into the camera. I just never got that. Like, I can hear you just fine if you leave your fucking mask on. Alas, he does look himself up, and this was at the very beginning, right? With Tattle Life, and I imagine he still reads it, honestly. Like, that, like, I looked myself up on there, and I'm not on there yet. I'll probably end up on there one, like, sooner or later. So, at this time, he also had a stationery business called Ink in a Box. It closed down in 2023, and he was just selling overpriced stationery stuff, which of course is fitting because he was a study tuber at the time. And I think it kind of flopped because of COVID. I don't really know. I'm just assuming. And he was adamant to not call it a failure, and instead just a business he was closing. Like, he was just closing it because you just close businesses. I feel like whenever you close a business, it's a failure. Like, it flopped, right? But he was adamant not to say that, but then proceeded to make fun of it by calling it a failure in a TikTok. This is kind of unnecessary, but he did have, like, he calls himself a business owner, right? That's why I mentioned, like, he makes that part of his personality that he's a business owner. He says, when my card gets declined at therapy, they'll bring out my failed stationery business I had to close down in 2023. After, in, like, some other comments, I actually don't know if I have to, oh, right here. I have everything ready, guys. Don't you worry. He, like, addressed something that we're going to talk about later, and then he explained failed business equals just a business that I'm closing down, not a failure. I have spoken about this extensively. Well, I didn't see it because I watched some of his YouTube videos and some of his TikToks, but I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? By the way, he has two. I didn't even say it. He now has two YouTube accounts. One is just his name, and the other one is Ben in the Box. And he posts book content on both of them now. I think the only logical transition that he could have made at this point, after not being able to proceed with his master's and therefore not studying anymore, not being a study tuber anymore, was to go into the book sphere, since he did graduate in English literature. And it makes sense. Like, the trajectory, bitch! Trajectory! It makes sense. Like, I get it, okay? I get why he did it. And that leads us to his next job that he did, which they were also so adamant about on Tattle Life. And it also says this on his LinkedIn. He says he was a research assistant. It also said at some point that he was a personal assistant for a famous person, never specifying who. I don't know if that's normal. Probably it is, but I feel like I could just put it on my LinkedIn if I don't have to say a name. I can just say, oh yeah, I was a personal assistant. Like, who's going to believe me? I don't believe him. He was part of a research team, and this person, his name is Ali Abdal, and he is apparently famous. I don't know what he's famous for. He's an ex-doctor, and now he's a podcaster, and he talks about productivity, and Ben said that he is a researcher for him, and they really like very much talked about this in like 2021, 2022, and then never mentioned it again. And as I said, he's not on LinkedIn anymore, so it still says still in German means quiet, by the way. It's written the same way. Still, sorry, you're learning so much from me. It still says on his LinkedIn that he is working as a research assistant, but that book came out already at the end of last year. In December 2023 it came out, and I couldn't find him mentioning it anywhere. Maybe he did, but I couldn't find it. And this person, Ali Abdal, he was also in the same management company as Jack. So I think that this was just a job given to him by his allegedly just a job given to him by his management, and not something that he like actively maybe applied for, but it was just like logical. Like they were like, oh, this other person in our management is writing a book, maybe you could help him because you don't have a job now because you're out of university. Anyway, he has over 1 million subscribers, by the way. He has a really big following, and he calls himself a book critic, which is something that I am consciously never doing. I would never call myself... watch me do it later. No. I would never call myself a book critic. I just think it's so entitled, peace and love, if I called myself that. Not him, you know, call yourself what you want. Because that immediately gives you like a... how do you say? People automatically assume something from you. And I don't really understand why he calls himself a book critic. I don't know what the definition of a critic is. But he's never published like any articles about books, any extensive reviews in writing that I could find, at least. Maybe they exist, I just couldn't find them. Sometimes I don't know what to look up, you know? I'm not that good. I'm not a good researcher, that's why I didn't work as one like him. But he calls himself a book critic. He's very adamant about that. And I mean, he has more credentials than me because he is he did study English literature. But then again, like, you only studied English literature, not literature. What's the difference? Do you then not read any, like, other works that were not originally in English in your studies? Like, I genuinely don't know. What is the difference? Like, why would you only study English literature, not just literature? Because if I were to study something after my bachelor's, which is marketing, by the way, peace and love, I would do literature, but just literature. Like, I don't want to be limited. I want to be international, because I am international. He also makes it a big point that he does read translated works, and that's so great for him. It's so great that he reads translated works. Every bilingual person, every non-English speaking person is rolling their eyes. You know, how many translated works I've had to read in my lifetime. When I was 14, I didn't know English that well, and then read YA books. Anyway, I don't know, when he talks about it, it just seems like a really big achievement, and like opening your horizon. And it's true. Just like if you guys read Maxton Hall, the translated Maxton Hall, that will also be widening your horizon, you know what I mean? Anyway, he has a really big following, and he's been getting invited to a lot of, like, to host a lot of things, a lot of Netflix related things, or like BBC. I don't really know what credentials he has for interviewing, but I feel like companies are just sending anyone to interview. Like, that's not specific to him that he's being sent, but they're just really sending anybody. They're like, oh, this person has a following, let's send them, even though that person maybe doesn't have any ability to interview. And I saw like 2 or 3 clips of him interviewing someone, but it was so short, like TikTok clips, that I can't judge it. I'm not an expert at interviewing. That being said, I have to leave for the concert now, and we will be continuing ASAP soon. Stay tuned. This is Sophie on the mic. Ba-ba-da-boo. And we're back. And we're back, guys. Concert was great. Thank you so much for asking. Before we continue talking about Ben, I have to make a big announcement. It's an intermission. Because yesterday, I can't even say it. Because I'm so excited. I was just talking about being excited for books in this episode and new releases. A new Hunger Games book was announced. I can't even look you in the eye when I say this because I'm gonna blush. I love you, Suzanne Collins. Guys, let's do everything to get me on that PR list so that when the movie premieres, I'm invited. I would sell, like, my kidney. I wouldn't, but I really want to go. German premiere? I would go. Oh my god. A new Hunger Games book was announced yesterday, for me, yesterday, called Sunrise of the Reaping, and it takes place on the morning of the 50th Hunger Games, which were Haymitch's games. We've been begging for years. I remember being 11 years old, saying like, oh my god, I need a Haymitch movie. And there was like a fan, I'll look it up for you guys, a fan-made not edit, but production, and you guys have to let me know. I think only people who were like really deep into it know about this. It has 13 million views. It's called Hunger Games: The Second Quarterquel by Mainstay Pro. It's 12 minutes long. I used to watch the fuck out of that. So she didn't announce that this was a Haymitch book, but it is Haymitch's games. And what I think is, it's coming out next March 2025, and the movie's coming out November 2026. So I think that's a realistic timeline to get me like super popular. It's in your hands. I'm kidding, okay? But I'm so excited. I don't have anyone to talk to about this. She didn't say it was going to be Haymitch's book, but since it's Haymitch's games, I think his POV will be part of it, obviously, and we will explore his story, but I think it's going to be a multi-POV book. Just because, if you don't know, his games, it was also Quarterquel, and so the special thing about his games was that there was double the tributes, and it was 48 people, and I think if you have a cast of 48 people, you can't write a book without multiple POVs. Like, it just doesn't work. There's too many stories to tell in that particular game alone. I don't even know what to say, guys. I'm so excited. Who else is excited? I'm really excited. Oh my god. If you don't know, I didn't even read the Songbird book. What's it called? Songbird of Snakes Ballad. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Fake fan. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've mentioned this before that I haven't read it. Did watch the movie, obsessed, love the Hunger Games universe, but I just remember when she announced it and it came out, I just don't give a fuck about President Snow, you know what I mean? Like, his story was never one that I was interested in, and so I don't know if I could sit through the book and read it. Maybe at some point, but Haymitch, definitely. Give me more, Suzanne, give me more. She's my queen. So that was the intermission, so everybody knows. I also don't want any comments about how I look. I got ready for you guys, but you cannot make me change out of my pajama. I am so sorry. It's been a long day, and then I changed and I was like, I gotta film the video, and now I have to change again. I'm not gonna do it. So let's return to our main topic and finish talking about Ben. I was lastly talking about the fact that he gets invited to a lot of premieres, which is fitting. He will probably get invited to the Sunrise of the Reaping, the new book, the new Hunger Games book premiere. Alas, invite me instead. I could definitely add to the awkwardness of interacting with strangers, because I am an introvert, believe it or not. I think it's very believable, but the people on Title Life, as I explained before, they are ruthless. I didn't even give you one example that I had picked out, just to kind of underline the fact that these people just hate him, no matter what he does. I picked out one particular screenshot that it made me, no, I can't find it. It made me go like, you know what I mean? And it was him asking in his Instagram story, what do you guys think my personality is? What is it called? MBTI type? Like, guess what it is. And then someone posted a screenshot of that story on Title Life, and they wrote, I don't know, probably cunt. CUNT. So I'm prompted. You know what I mean? If you're wondering what mine is, I think I'm an INTP, but I don't know what that means. I should retake that test. I took it when I was like 16, so that maybe doesn't apply to me anymore. I don't know if it changes, but basically, the people on Tattle Life also think that Ben doesn't read all of the books that he says he does, because he reads like 200 books, around like a little less, a little more, around 200 books a year, and they don't believe him. They really strongly don't believe him and will put a pin in that. But an example I have is that he was invited to a premiere of a book-to-screen adaptation of the novel. Is it a show or a movie? I didn't even realize this existed. It's called One Day. It's on Netflix. He posted a picture of him attending the premiere, and the caption reads as follows. One day, you're reading a book in your childhood bedroom and falling in love with literature. Then one day, you're hosting a Netflix premiere for the book-to-screen adaptation of that novel. One Day is out now, and it was a privilege to interview its extremely talented cast, crew, and the author of the original novel. Yes, I did fanboy. No, I was not cool about it. So he went to the premiere. He hosted some kind of event, special evening at the BAFTAs, whatever. He gets invited to everything. This was in February of this year, 2024. And then the people on Tattle Life were like, as I said, the author is called, no, I didn't say it right, David Nichols. And he said, number of David Nichols books marked as read on Ben's Goodreads, 0. Number of mentions of David Nichols by Ben in the history of his YouTube channel, 0. Exposed. No, obviously, like, you don't, I don't know. He says he read it as a child. You don't lock the books you read as a child. If he's ever mentioned this author on YouTube or TikTok or anything, I obviously can't judge. This person seems to severely hate watch him, so they appear to have better knowledge of this than I do and that I can judge right now, so we just have to believe them. It's alleged, right, that he's never talked about this author before. And then he posted a clip of him interviewing the author, and then the person on Tattle Life wrote, unsurprisingly, when he has the chance to ask Nichols a question about his decades in the industry, his work, One Day, or the adaptation, Ben has no idea what to ask because he hasn't read any of his work or watched either adaptation of One Day. They also assume that he doesn't watch the content that he is invited to. We'll put a pin in that too. We're putting many pins today. The question he asked the author was, do you ever see people reading the book out in the wild? And the thing is, like, I don't think he thought of that question. Like, I think if you're invited, you get given the questions, right? Isn't that how media works? But they hyperanalyze everything that he does. And then they also say, wearing whatever embarrassing embroidered by Edward Scissorhands monstrosity that is. He just asked if Nichols has ever... That's so mean. Has ever seen anyone reading one of his books in public? A question that Ben exclaims is the number one question he's always wanted to ask any author. Oh, okay. Never mind. this fuckwit was threatening people with a podcast interviewing authors recently, and this is a sneak preview of how indescribably shit that would be. He did tease that he wants to start a podcast where he interviews people and authors. Invite me. No, don't invite me. I would decline. I haven't found any more information on this. He tends to, like, make a lot of statements and then not follow through on them or explain them further, is what I found out. Kind of like with that research that he did for this one person's book. That just kind of fell off. Like, I couldn't find an explanation on the status of that, for example, you know? It gets kind of forgotten. So... he gets invited to this premiere. And then before we talk about a big flop that he had a while ago, I want to take the pin out of what I just put, where he says that, where the people assume that he doesn't watch the things that he gets invited to. In 2022, or 2021, doesn't matter, Ben went to New York City to take a creative writing course and a screenwriting course. I think it was a 2-in-1 kind of thing, creative writing and screenwriting course. And this is something that he supposedly had mentioned during his study era on his YouTube channel many times, allegedly, according to Tattle Life. But then he made a few interesting statements that kind of confused me and people on Tattle Life, because supposedly he had said multiple times, like, he loves screenwriting and he wants to be a screenwriter maybe one day. Like, that would be a dream of his. Allegedly, he said that, right? And then someone commented on one of his YouTube videos. This is the first incident of, like, people going, huh? Where someone said, bro, you need to start watching non-Western movies as well. Don't restrict yourself to your comfort zone. It is like you are not willing to watch movies with subtitles, ? Get a movie sub for a month at least. And then Ben replied to this comment, I mostly watch movies on aeroplanes. First of all, why is he calling planes by their full legal name? Is that normal in Britain? Aeroplane? Just say plane. I feel like aeroplane is so much to say. You know what I mean? He puts in brackets behind that, as I travel a lot. Just so you know that he's on a plane because he travels a lot. Alright, screenings I'm invited to, which is why most of the movies are Western plus English. I never watch movies in my free time, but if I did, I'm sure there would be more. I never watch movies in my free time. Then he did a podcast episode with Jordan Teresa, if you know her, they're friends. And they talk about shows that they're currently watching. And Jack kind of brags about the fact, I said his name, Ben brags, I have his normal name in my notes, that's why, brags that he doesn't own a television. He doesn't have a TV. And he will never watch a TV series unless it's to make content from it. Okay. And then he also talks about the fact that Heartstopper, which is also a premiere he was invited to, is the first TV show for gay people. Which I don't think is true. Which is good that there's more of shows for gay people, but I don't think it's like the first. I don't think it's the first of its kind. So that was one of the things. Unsure why he would ever state that he wants to be a screenwriter if he doesn't watch movies or TV. And now you also know that if he ever talks about a show, it's just because he knows he would get views from it. It's not really that great. And then he had a big fiasco where he did memberships on his channel. This was a big drama as far as I'm concerned. And what happened is, at the end of 2022, so this is also a while ago, right? He put memberships up on his channel, like I have members, love you, bookhaters. And he made several promises. And there's a big Reddit post where someone was like, I'm a member of his channel and you shouldn't join because it's a scam. So I will be mostly reading off of that because they did a really long explanation of what was going on in the situation. But this just kind of, the reason I'm pointing this out is because, first of all, he's been in drama before, and second of all, this has kind of shown that he just doesn't follow through on things. You know? He made memberships, and you're gonna ask me how much are they? Because my memberships are $2.99 or $3.99. You can choose. It's up to you. And he started off the subscription service at the beginning of December. He first offered it at much steeper price point, around £20 a month. £20. I could never imagine asking anyone to pay me £20 a month. For what? For what? But after a bit of backlash, he did change the prices to $1.99. And $6.99 a month. As part of the subscription, we were offered, no comment, from £20 to $1.99. What was offered to the members? Members only Q&A monthly, a Discord server where he would post daily questions to prompt discussion and interact with us, them, replying to at least 40 member comments on each video. I don't even get 40 comments on one video. Bring your own book, live streams with member community. That's it. Now, the issue was that he didn't do any of this. First of all, the Discord that he set up, and you know what? My boyfriend's told me, you should make a Discord. I don't fuck with Discord, guys. I grew up on TeamSpeak. Does anyone remember TeamSpeak? Is that still around? He had a Discord server, and it took a bit to set up, and I'm reading this off, right? And there were no mods, bots, roles, or rules. It was very bare bones, but it worked for what it was. In the beginning, there were consistent questions, and he was interacting with a few of us, but as time went on, there started to be days where we wouldn't get those daily questions. He also had not held a single live stream or uploaded a Q&A. We figured out that maybe he was really busy, because he travels a lot, as we know, on aeroplanes, or there was something going on, so we didn't complain as it had only been like 6 weeks. Fast forward to February, so December to February, and the daily questions were getting far more sparse. I think like daily questions is a lot to set up in the first place. At this point, we had been paying for 2 full months and had still received no content. We started to get annoyed, but we decided to make a joint message for Jack to see Ben, expressing our frustrations. It was really kind, and he went as far as to thank us for our message, saying, "Thank you for the kind and understanding message, and also for your patience." In this message, he apologized, explained that there was a technical issue that was not fixed. Okay, he didn't even tell them about this, and said that the content was coming as soon as he got back from his trip to Dublin, but he was receiving an award of some kind. Yeah, he gets like, I also want an award for the biggest hater, but I think I already got that. Don't worry about it. He said he would film and post an extra long Q&A to make up for it. We thought that would be the end of it. Since that message, which was sent on the 7th of this month, so exactly 2 months since the launch of the subscription, he has ignored our messages on Discord and hasn't posted any daily questions or any of the content he offered. It has now been nearly 3 weeks since that message was posted, and he's done nothing to remedy the situation or take accountability. At this point, he has made a minimum of £3,000 and has produced zero of the content he promised us. We understand that he might be going through something. I would not be this understanding. But the fact of the matter, especially like I would cancel it, right? After 2 months, if I didn't get anything, I would cancel it, peace and love. But like I would still want my money back because I didn't get anything I promised for. I think, or I don't know if you can dispute it with YouTube, because you do have to list the benefits that you are providing to your members. But I don't know if you can put in a complaint if you don't get those benefits. I don't know, even though I have members, but I deliver. You know what I mean? Like, I deliver on the promises. You get the video a day early. I don't even make content on my normal channel. Imagine if I had to make extra content, maybe in the future. I want to do it in the future, actually. But I'm just not capable right now, that's why I'm not doing it. And I'm not traveling a lot. I just know what I'm capable of. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to overestimate it, because then this situation would happen. So, but the fact of the matter is that he's still offering a service to his fans that he's not capable of fulfilling for whatever reason. We have been incredibly grateful, but it's been 3 months of membership, and in this economy, most of us don't have money to burn for a creator we trusted to live on these promises. And then he would delete comments under his YouTube videos and post other content. All the while this was going on his main channel, he would just not address this at all anywhere. He then later addressed the situation and he released a very long and equally overdue Q&A for the members. He gave the unlisted link for, because some people had unsubscribed because they didn't get the content, and then he made the video unlisted and just sent out the link so that they could still watch it even though they weren't paying anymore. Right? I think what he did was he split the Q&A in 2 parts. So technically it was one big Q&A, but members were getting 2 videos. Now at this point it has been 3 months, so they were promised 3 Q&As. He should have done 3 Q&As, but I think since he made one really long video, that was just good enough for him. And he had a pretty long description where he attempted to explain everything. In this, he said that this membership has clearly not worked out and the way he intended, and that he took on far too much work than he was capable of. He said that he prioritized his channel's content for all subscribers and thought we'd be happy with that too. But they're paying you. The thing is, like, that is so insane to me, this whole situation. Maybe I can empathize a little bit more because I do have memberships and I already feel bad if I don't post my normal content because I don't have the time. And then imagine the fact that he wanted to get £20 a month. Imagine if he hadn't changed it. And then he wouldn't have done the content otherwise. It was so unimportant to him because he was getting enough money from other venues anyway. I don't even want to know how many people he lost through this. Because, like, this is so... I don't know, it just... But you know what? This behavior is disgusting. I was, like, looking for adjectives that I could use to describe what I'm feeling. But it's just, like... If I don't have anyone that I am a member of, but then I would just be so disappointed as a viewer, because people that become a member to you they really want to support you and they probably really like you. I hope my bookhaters like me. And they're spending however much it is, their money on you actively. They're giving you like a salary actively, choosing to do that. And then you not... Ugh, whatever. You get it. I just think this is really disgusting of him. Like, even if this was a while ago, I think this kind of shows his character. And, I mean, at this point in time, he's even bigger than he was when this happened. And he could be even more abgehoben. What is abgehoben in English? Egotistical? No, that's egoistisch. What's abgehoben? I don't know. Doesn't matter. He realizes now that he should have focused on member content too. I have no issue with this. He made a mistake. Then he had promised live streams, right? And he decided to open up the read-along to all followers because he also promised a read-along. And rather than it being members only, he made it for all followers because he wanted to raise money for Turkey-Syria earthquake. If you remember that happened, he's very vocal about political issues, which I think is really great. He's very openly speaking out against the genocide happening in Gaza, which I think is amazing that he's using his platform to do that. But still, like, you know, you could have done both. He says the plan was to do a members-only read-along too. My problem here lies in the lack of communication. He never said anything, you know? I can guarantee that 99% of us, blah, 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 even get so much as a post explaining this or telling us how you were gonna make up for the lost exclusive perks. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he just didn't say anything about it, you know what I mean? And then if he actually made, allegedly, £3,000 from this, that's even more insane to me, because that's so much fucking money. Then comes the Discord. Some necessary backstory to this part is that when we realized that Jack's server was pretty deserted, a fantastic member decided to create her own Discord server with all things that were missing from Jack's, for free, I might add. I'm incredibly grateful for her hard work. It turned out absolutely stunning. I always think of Adele when I read stunning. She posted the link to this new server in the old one, and a lot of people migrated there. In the description, he says that Discord was something totally new to him. He mentioned that he enjoyed reading our answers, but quickly realized that some had moved to the other Discord, where we have created a community we wanted. Once this had been done, I felt that this server was redundant. This definitely annoyed me because it felt like an excuse. It doesn't matter if 1 million people joined this new server, people were still paying him for his server along with the other perks, and someone else doing it for free when he wasn't stepping up doesn't give him the right to stop without, again, so much as a courtesy message. Agree with everything this person said. He then kept up the membership for like 1 or 2 more weeks and then took it off his channel, and since then, he hasn't done them, as far as I'm concerned. He also hasn't done Patreon. I think he's gonna end up doing that probably at some point. But he seems to have a lot of projects that he wants to do, and he doesn't follow through on any of them. Like, for example, the research position, we don't know how that turned out. He doesn't do the memberships anymore. He had a blog he doesn't do anymore. Then he learned French, and he wanted to do content in French, and he didn't do that. He wanted to become a screenwriter, but then he didn't. A lot of things going on, a lot of interest. It's just like, if I'm so ambivalent about things, I just wouldn't voice them, because then people can't hold me accountable, you know what I mean? Because I never said anything about it. But all of this happened. He made a apology video too, but he made that apology video on his second channel, that has or at that point had 800,000 less subscribers, and that was not the channel you could subscribe, like become a member on. His main channel was the one with the memberships. He made a 3-minute apology video. He said, "I'm so sorry that this happened. I just overestimated myself, and I don't know." It's an unlisted video now. People were in the comments then saying like, "Oh, we love you, Transparency King, for deleting comments and unlisting this video so not everybody can see it." He dishes out, but he can't take it when people then tell him off. You know what I mean? Ben never stands on business. That's kind of like the whole takeaway from all of this, I would say. And I think it's really funny. So, long story short, he really just bit off more than he could chew with the whole membership situation. You should not... you don't have to promise everything right off the bat. You can always say that you're going to add additional perks. And that's also a long-term goal that I have, that I can make extra content for my members, and that I will have the time to make extra content for my members, but I just know that I can't do that right now. So I didn't say it, that I'm gonna do it right now, because I can't. He closed down the memberships, and still there was... Oh yeah, this is really funny. This is the funny part of the story. There was a YouTuber who made a video in a live stream talking about the situation back when it happened, right? Let me see. Their name, I wrote it down somewhere, is Alyssa, aka Nerdy Nurse Reads. She did a short video explaining what was going on, kind of like talking about book trauma, because this was a drama that happened, and I would have probably talked about it at the time. Did I have my podcast at that time? Maybe I just didn't know about it. I don't know. But she explained in a video, and then she made a video live stream with a friend talking about the situation, just so people were aware, because at that point, as far as I'm concerned, the memberships were still up. You could still subscribe, but it was only so that people could get their content, he said. Okay, sure. So he threw a fit on a live stream, on this live stream to be specific, and you can still find it on YouTube. And it's really funny to me because this person now has 2,400 subscribers versus over 1 million that Ben has, and the video has 3,800 views, the uploaded video of the live stream. I don't know how many people were in the live stream at the time, but that's not that many views for it being over a year ago. So not that many people saw it. But I imagine that Ben Boo Boo yet again searched up his name online to see what people were saying about him, because he seems to do that quite a lot. You will see more later. Put a pin in it. That's my new favorite thing to say. You need to tell me like a synonym for that so I can switch it up. I don't know. I feel like I heard someone say this and I just picked it up into my vocabulary. And you're going to say, what do you mean he threw a fit? You can just say anything and I will believe you. Thank you for that. But it's funny to me because he made 2 comments, but the more interesting one is him saying, I'm going to leave this live stream as it is the nastiest thing I have ever experienced. I'm rectifying this issue, but platforming so much hatred is not helpful to anyone. And you're going to say, Sophie, what did they say in this live stream that is so nasty and hurtful? Nothing. They just explained what was going on. They were really respectful. People were asking questions about it during the live stream, and then the message pops up on the screen because it was on YouTube, and they would be answering it, but at no point were they explicitly hateful from what I saw. Obviously, I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't remember how long it was, but it's a little bit longer. I was just skimming through it, but they were like normally talking about it like I am right now. And he says, this is the nastiest thing I've ever experienced. Someone answered during the live stream, and I have to agree with them. If this is the nastiest thing you've ever experienced, someone talking about something you fucked up and telling other people about it, and that is the nastiest thing, then you probably haven't experienced that many nasty things in your life, and you should be grateful for that, because this was not nasty at all. And he was just going crazy, throwing a fit, right? Okay. Odd. I would never do that. Well, couldn't be me. He can't handle the heat, apparently. He also rips out... the list keeps going. He rips off other people's content, and this I also found very interesting and very... not condescending. It's another word with C. I'm using a lot of big words today because he does. I feel like with the books he reads, because I didn't even say, he mostly reads like literary fiction, not fantasy, not the books that I read, but instead like books that, in my opinion, he reads so he seems sophisticated. He's trying to curate this persona around him. That's just the vibe that I get, and I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with his aesthetic and his vibe. That's why I don't watch his content. But you can. I allow it. I don't mind if anyone does, obviously. He did an interview with Business Insider, and in that interview, he said, the content people were generally making on BookTube was books I want to read in April, and then books I read in April. By mid-May, that content is no longer relevant. A lot of the content wasn't evergreen. Instead, Ben tried to tap into pop culture moments, like analyzing book recommendations from celebrities like Harry Styles or Taylor Swift, or books mentioned in popular TV series like HBO's The White Lotus. I hope these are just as interesting to watch today as today I uploaded them, because they're still interesting as concepts, he said. He said at the time. What did I just read out? Let me sum it up. He says, fuck them bitches on BookTube. First of all, 2-hour videos are too long, he says. Second of all, who the fuck cares about your TBR? Want to point out that he does exactly that kind of content on his second channel, but alas, hypocrite. Funnily enough, people on Tattle Life pointed out that he was not the one to invent these kind of videos. November 2022, Carly, which is another YouTuber, first video, she reads Harry Potter styles. Okay. I wanted to say Potter again. Fuck. Harry Styles' favorite books. And in December 2020, Ben reads Harry Potter Styles' favorite books. The first celebrity book club video. He has a playlist on his main channel called Celebrity Book Club where he does those kind of videos. But this just shows to you in November 2020, another person did this video, and he did it in December 2020. In August 2020, Carrie Can Read reads books recommended by BTS's Namjoon, and in February 2021, he does it. In March 2021, Carly reads Taylor Swift's favorite books, and in April 2021, Jack does the same. There's more overlap between the celebrities Jack and Carly have made videos on, and they collaborate on the Lord Reading Challenge, but this one still stood out to me. In February 2021, Carly reads Camille Rowe's favorite books. In February 2021, Carly reads Kaya Gerber's favorite books. And in October 2021, Ben reads book recommendations by supermodels Inta Alia, you guessed it, Camille Rowe, and Kaya Gerber. Literally the copy my homework but don't make it obvious meme. How Ben even has a playlist, as I just said, which is the name of Carly's series, the Celebrity Book Club. I won't subject myself to listen to Ben talk, so I don't know if he credits Carrie and Carly. I also don't know. He didn't link their videos in the info box, so I guess not. Obviously, content creators hop on trends all the time, but I think it's very telling of Ben's character that as a male with a huge platform, his sub count was 239,000 at the time, and then the screenshot cuts off. I don't know what else they said. But the point I was trying to make is, in this Business Insider article, to me at least, it literally sounds like he invented this shit, which he didn't. He copied it from someone else. Whether there was some kind of interaction between the two of them, that could have happened, you know? Where he was like, can I make the same? And she said, yeah. But she could have also said no. At the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. I also wasn't the one to invent the pictures on the wall and talking about the plot of a book type video that I did for Throne of Glass. I'm going to put out the second one this year, don't worry. But at the end of the day, I don't do a Business Insider article and then credit it as my own. I just get like a really weird vibe from him, I have to say. I just don't fuck with him. He seems very conceited. Is that the word I was looking for with C? I'm looking at myself, which is a good segue. If I look like this, I'm looking into the screen of the camera. If I look like this, I'm looking into your eyes and your soul, hopefully. Basically, a lot of people on Tattle Life accuse Ben of not reading the books he says he reads. And that maybe he just skims them, or he reads, what is the page called that has spark notes of the books? And I wanted to investigate this. He did say at some point, I saw that he reads a lot of short books because that's a lot of books that you can read in a short amount of time because they're short. But people on Tattle Life just hate him. That's why they say that. They're just haters. But maybe there's something to this. And the only way I could prove this was if I watched one of his videos, which I didn't want to do. But then I looked up if he had ever read, since he doesn't read the kind of books that I do, the BookTok famous one, he reads fiction only, basically. Romance and Fourth Wing. Those are the two categories that exist. Now I'm going to be talking about Fourth Wing. I know you missed it. I'm the Fourth Wing biggest hater, and so I feel eligible to talk about this. But he doesn't read romance and fantasy. He stated in the Jordan Teresa video that he just feels like that's a foreign language, reading fantasy, and he just can't get into it. Everybody has their own preference, just like I don't read nonfiction. He doesn't read fantasy, really. But sometimes he does have to make content, and he does get over, like, was it over 100,000? I think over 100,000 views basically on every video. So he gets a ton of views. He has a ton of sponsors. He has a ton of ads. I'm just accusing him now. I don't know if he has a ton of ads. I have an ad blocker. So I wouldn't know. But I decided to look up if he has read Fourth Wing. And he did. And he mentioned it a few times. And I watched those clips specifically. To to figure out what he had to say about it, okay? And I want to point out that the video that I watched, it was him reading, like, BookTok books. I watched the video, only the part where he mentions Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which he both read. He looks at himself the entire time, like this, which is a big pet peeve of mine. I don't know if anyone else is bothered by this or you don't care about it, but for me, I don't fuck with it when I can tell that someone is just looking at themselves the entire time. You conceited ass motherfucker. Okay. And the audio is ass, which is why I have the microphone. At the point of him filming that video, I do have to say that he had around over 1 million more subscribers than me, and still he was not using a microphone. So, okay. And he looks at himself the entire time. I have to point it out again. Like, would you prefer it if I did like this the entire time? Why do I need to look at myself the entire time? Like, I get it if you look over, because I do that too. I look over. I'm like, is everything okay? Is everything in frame? Do I look okay? He read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. He mentions this in the Jordan Teresa video also, that he is currently reading Fourth Wing in that video. And he says, and you will not believe me, because this is someone who only reads nonfiction. He studied English literature. He is supposed to have some credentials as a book critic. He says he fucks with he fucks with Fourth Wing. He fucks with it. He enjoys it. He likes it. He at that point doesn't critique it in any form whatsoever. Doesn't critique the writing, the plot that doesn't exist, the world building, nothing. At that point, he's still reading it. So in the video he made on his channel, he has finished it, and he has also finished Iron Flame, Iron Wing, Iron whatever, Chicken Wing. He does not give a summary of the book when he talks about it. He mentions dragons one single time, and you can obviously go watch this for yourself and make your own impression. And I'm going to say allegedly, I don't think he read it. Allegedly, I think he looked up what people had to say about it, and then just said what they said. And the reason I say that is because I wrote down in my notes, his ass didn't read the book. The things he mentions is, there are gaping plot holes. Again, he mentions the dragon one time, and he says, the main character is so annoying, he wouldn't have minded if she fell off the dragon. That's the only way he mentions dragons. I don't get how you can sit there and review a book and not tell us what it's about and give us like some more commentary on it. He just says it has gaping plot holes, the first book that he enjoyed, right? He doesn't understand how this is a war college and people are being killed when there is need of an army, obviously, which is something I also mentioned, but it's also something people mention a lot in their reviews, that they think it doesn't make sense. So it's something he could have easily looked up, allegedly. And he says the only redemption of book 1 is the fiery romance. In brackets behind it, I put question mark. The fiery romance that we all loved, Xaden and Violet. Okay. In the worst books I read in 2023, he then says he loves Fourth Wing. He loved Fourth Wing. What the fuck am I saying? He loved Chicken Wing. He says the world should be expanded in the second book, which it wasn't, but her ass did expand it. He kind of goes on to say, oh, I loved Fourth Wing. No, he doesn't use the word love, but he says, I liked Fourth Wing. So, I always mess up the titles, but I always do that, right? I can never remember. But he did not fuck with Iron Flame. He felt like it was redundant compared to the first book, that they were first. That was very Scottish of me. He didn't like Iron Flame, but he liked Fourth Wing. He thought that Iron Flame was a carbon copy of the first book, and that it didn't work, and that she did not expand on the world, which is not true, because we literally expand on the world, but in a bad way. I don't understand how you, as a book critic, can sit your ass in front of a camera and say you liked something like Fourth Wing. He then mentions that in Iron Flame the writing was bad, but he doesn't say that about Fourth Wing. And yet again, those are arguments you could have easily looked up. And like, if he read it, that's fine. Like, I don't want to put anything on him, but just from the vibe that I got when I was watching that clip, it's not long, you can watch it, right, in his video. If you just look up his name and then Fourth Wing, it comes up. I just got the vibe that he did not read it. He gave no insightful commentary, and I can judge how insightful his commentary is on other books that he reads, how critical he is of other books that he reads, because I didn't read them, and so I don't want to watch it, because I don't care, because I'm not going to read them. But the people on Tattle Life also state that they think that his commentary is very redundant, that he says the same things over and over again, and that when he talks about a book multiple times on different occasions, he just repeats what he said on the other occasions. He doesn't add anything to it. Yet again, this is something I can judge. This is just something that was said. And they made a really good point saying, what is the point of rushing through 160 books a year for your booktube channel if you're going to have literally nothing to say about them? And he had literally nothing to say about Fourthwing or Iron Flame. Which is also, like, that kind of content is not for me. And I know that because I sit my ass down and I do, like, hour-long reviews of all of the books I read. Just because I think that's more fun and that's more insightful than if I said, this book was boring. The main character is a bitch. Next. Is not fun to me. I don't like those kind of book reviews because they give me nothing. Go girl, give us nothing. Go Ben, give us nothing. I just don't fuck with nonfiction. It's so pretentious. I wrote down. I think nonfiction is pretentious. Peace and love. Like, if you read it, I don't judge you. My boyfriend reads nonfiction. I don't care what you read. But for me, a lot of things in life are not that deep, and so I could never, like, take myself that seriously. You know, I just don't. I take something seriously, but not that many. And reading is not one of them. Reading is just for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? I feel like if you read nonfiction, you're not doing it for shits and giggles. Like, you're actually committing. And I respect that, but that's just not me. I want to read silly books. Like, life is serious enough. You know what I mean? Like, I can't read serious books. I would lose my mind. I just can't do it. But I respect everyone who does it. For Ben, I just feel like he's pretentious. Peace and love, no. I mean it with one hate. Can you tell? Ich habe ihn gefressen. Means in German, I ate him. I ate him up, yeah? But, kind of like, whatever, did I talk about this before? Whatever he does and whatever he says, I will not like it. It will annoy me. Ich habe ihn gefressen, I ate him. That's kind of what that means. It's like a idiom. Doesn't matter what he does, I will probably be annoyed by it. Now, that being said, of course, everybody is wondering, does he have his own book? Where's his book? He wrote a universe, which is a self-help uni blog post collection. But where's his actual book if he's a book critic and everything? Like, if he takes himself so seriously. Let's talk about it. So, he has, of course, been writing on his own book. He has been talking about this for a long time, since like 2022. He's been saying he wants his own book. Here's some information. He wants his own book. He wants to write his own book. Here's some information on this. He has a Instagram group, a broadcast group called Yapsity, as I mentioned before, and he talks about the book he's writing. It's going to be dark academia inspired by the film Kill Your Darlings, which I don't fucking know what that is. I haven't watched that, which is interesting that it's been inspired by a film when he doesn't watch any except on aeroplanes. It will have letters instead of numbers for chapters, A, B, C, and some letters are missing for a reason. The story of the book is based on a true story, and he did extensive research, including staying in someone's back garden to write about the setting. He did so much research and supplementary research that his brain is tired. He stayed in someone's back garden so he could imagine what it's like to be in a garden. The story takes a stand of 54 years. That's it. We don't know anything else. Again, he's been writing it for a long, long time. Put a pin in that, as we're going to talk about the drama that this is all leading up to, in case you forgot. That he's been writing this for, like, let's just say 2 years. He's been writing on this book for 2 years, right? And again, he has published a book before, which was the self-help book for university that no one asked for and no one needed. Peace and love. Maybe people asked for this. I don't really know. I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't ask for it. You know what I mean? So, should we talk about the drama? Okay, let's talk about it. You're going to ask me, Sophie, why the fuck did we talk about all of this? Well, basically, there's an author called Beth. I think her last name is Rickles. I think that's how you pronounce it. I actually don't know. Kind of looks like Reckless. Do you guys know Reckless? Don't answer that. The League of Legends player. Oh wait, where does it say G2? Right here. I don't want to talk about it. Used to be obsessed with him anyway. Used to. Beth is the author of The Kissing Booth. She is a full-time author. She has been writing for a long time. The Kissing Booth, if you didn't know, started out, and you know, it doesn't really matter what your opinion is on that. We'll just disregard that. The matter of the fact is that she wrote that on Wattpad first when she was like 15. And then published it at, I don't want to lie, like 17, relatively young. And then the movies got made shortly after. And she is a successful full-time author whose books have literally been turned into a Netflix production. Things that Ben advertises for. She made a TikTok saying she wrote 3 books in 4 months, and it was in a funny way. It was like her being like, when you've literally written 3 books in 4 months, or when you've written 3 books and it's only April, or something like that. I want to point out that I literally just realized, because I had to change the camera battery, that my ramen bowl was standing in the background the entire time. I'm sorry. The viewfinder is pretty small, so I didn't look behind myself. I removed it now. I'm sorry, I hope you didn't notice. I hope you were just focused on my beautiful face. Okay, conceited. So, it was a really funny TikTok. She did say in that video, the text on the screen was, when you finish writing 3 books and it's only April. And now we have Ben coming in. He saw this video and he felt the need to make a video in response. He did not mention Beth's name, and he did not stitch her in any way. He didn't tag her. He just made a video saying, like, I just saw a video, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, like, explaining what it said. And then he goes, I don't know if that's the flex you think it is. With peace and love, he says with peace and love, he stole my jig. I don't want to read your book if you're writing so much in such a short amount of time. I don't think the right amount of quality control and consideration is being put in it. He deleted this video shortly after, and there's not that many stitches of it. The author, Beth, she did stitch it and talk about it, and then some other people reacted and were like, why the fuck did he say this unprompted? But I could not find the original video anymore of him saying this. So if he says more in that video, I don't know. But basically, a getaway is, and the caption also was, I don't want to read your book. I'm not going to read your book. Now, it's funny because Beth never said you should. It's also funny because why did you feel the need to make this video? She was just making like a funny little video, minding her business. And with everything that we've talked about so far, I'll talk about that in a second. So, people were calling him out a little bit for it in his comments, but also in the stitches. And Jack then chose to double down, right? And continue being an asshole, according to Tattle Life, they said this, and showing how little he understands a writing process. This is awesome. Oh no, this is someone. This is awesome. This is someone who was threatening to launch an author they're so stuck up with this podcast. I don't even know what's going on with it. To launch an author interview podcast, yet he clearly has zero clue how they work. And I'm mentioning this because he then proceeded to answer comments under this video, right? I think he also answered some comments in stitches, but these are all comments that he replied to under the video that he posted saying, I don't want to read your book. That's how he says it. He says it like that. I just did such a good impression. He goes, peace and love, I don't want to read your book. Okay, then don't. Like, sure, okay, whatever. That's up to you if you don't want to read it. But some comments were, Jack never stands on business, as I mentioned earlier. Ben, how many times have I said, Ben? If you're going to make bold statements, you should be able to stand by them, lad. And then he replied, deleted because he deleted the video. Deleted because the author was clearly upset and was replying to every single comment on the video. And then so the person replied, but surely you knew the author would never react positively to your videos, especially given your big following just seemed a bit unnecessary. Peace and love, it is. And you're going to say, Sophie, you're the book hater. How can you argue? You complain. I want to point out that I've made it very clear that I've never attacked anyone for what they're reading. I will say it in my videos, if you're reading Haunting Adeline and you fuck with it, I will tell you, like, you're wrong and you're disgusting. That's a good example. But never on, like, TikTok or Instagram do I comment on anyone's video being like, who do you think you are? Or I've never made a stitch on anyone saying, how can you read this? Never directly responding to anyone, because that's their thing. Like, let them do their thing. Why they can choose to interact with my content, but I won't interact with their content directly, because that's just none of my business, right? And I also don't have 1 million plus followers. I think, actually, let me look up how many he has on TikTok. I forgot to write it down. I don't think he has over 1 million on TikTok. but he does have a lot, so a lot of people saw this video. Again, I did not see the original video. It was already deleted by the time I saw the stitches. He has 650,000 followers on Goodreads. TikTok, sorry. Love that for him. Not. Ich gönn dich. Ich mach Auge. Here it says it. Someone said, boy can dish out but not take it. That's what I was referring to earlier. And then he replies, I said 3 books written in 4 books. So he was definitely fast typing this because that is a typo king. It should say 3 books written in 4 months, but it says 3 books written in 4 books. Doesn't make me excited to read it. And didn't name the author. What would I even be apologizing for? First drafts are a thing, you know? And he goes, but 3 first drafts in 4 months? That requires writing around 2,000 words per day. And that doesn't take into account any self-editing/reflecting time. We continue. Just because people write books faster doesn't mean they can't have the same level of nuance and detail as another author writing books over years. You can't just jump to conclude a book will be bad and sad, no bad. He goes, my point is more that someone bragging about how quickly they churn out books doesn't make me think, oh, I can't wait to read that. That's it. That's all of the ones that I have. These are all from Tattle Life, of course. Thank you, Tattle Life, for this. But I'm pretty sure, allegedly, he also replied to videos stitching this, or whatever, and that he actively looked them up then to see what people were saying, and then he replied to them in the comments. But obviously he's doubling down. He's saying, what should I apologize for? I stand on business, and then he deleted the video. And if you're wondering if he ever made another statement regarding this, he didn't. He never mentioned this anywhere again. Would that be on TikTok or any other platform? If he ever messaged the author directly and apologized to her, I don't know. But he deleted it and pretended like nothing ever happened. I think that he truly, I don't actually know what he thought the response would be, but saying, I just saw a video of an author. Why would you think that people wouldn't find out who that author was, even if you're not mentioning them directly? Why would you think that? Just say, I just thought about. If you want to be hateful, just say that. He says that, as we remember, 2,000 words a day is a lot. And by the way, I want to point out that this author said she wrote 3 books in 4 months, but she did point out that those were drafts. She drafted 3 books in 4 months. And that she's going to be working on them further throughout the year. 2 of them, and 1 of them was just for fun. He could not understand this. Because then he was also like, well, she said she finished. She said she finished the books. And I think it's so weird because you could have just gone onto her account and seen that she is the author of The Kissing Booth, that she is successful in what she does. But then again, maybe he did go onto the account and saw that she was the author of The Kissing Booth and was like, okay, obviously this bitch can't write because he doesn't fuck with The Kissing Booth. And because it's a silly little rom-com romance book, I truly have to defend The Kissing Booth here. Whether or not you like it, that bitch did it, She got a Netflix deal. She got Jacob Elordi in her fucking movies. She invented Jacob Elordi. Be thankful, you know what I mean? I'm sure he thirsts after Jacob Elordi. I'm sorry. He loves Harry Styles, speaking against it. I don't really know how these 2 people connect, but anyway. He probably has done a video on, reading Jacob Elordi's books or something like that, because he's really popular at the moment. Tattle Life goes on to say his complete inability to be able to fathom someone, a full-time professional author, nonetheless, because again, remember, Beth does not do anything else. She is a writer, full-time. She doesn't have another job. Writing 2,000 words a day for a rough first draft is especially insane, considering he spent years of his life championing toxic productivity along with his study tuber pals. As you remember, he used to be a study tuber, making videos like, finishing my essay the night before. Writing 10,000 words for my essay the night before I have to hand it in. These aren't books that are even in his sphere of literature that he pretends to read. They never would have been featured on his channel unless he was gifted them, that's what Tattle Life says, and switched to, I have to pretend this is my new obsession for 5 minutes. See, they hate him. So him professing to take a stand and avoiding them based on perceived quality because of the speed their first drafts were written is ridiculous. And remember, he has been writing on his book for 2 years. So you could imagine that he maybe assumes that the longer you take to write a book, the better it's going to be. Maybe he thinks he's writing the new Game of Thrones. Well, he does take a long time to write. Lord of the Rings is what I wanted to say. And I find it especially hypocritical because some people were going into the misogynist route. I don't want to say that. I don't want to call him a misogynist. I have nothing to base it on besides the fact that he loves Stephen King and that he actively recommends books by Stephen King. And if you're like, okay, why are you mentioning this? Stephen King is known to be an exceptionally fast writer that churns out a lot of books over short periods of time, multiple books a year often. So much that, as far as I'm concerned, he had to make up an alias at one point because he was just writing so much. So he could publish more and could write more. So why are you running around parroting that you love Stephen King and his books, who writes equally as fast, assumingly, presumptuously, I'm just using big words, and then you go out of your way to make a video about an innocent little video that an author made, who is arguably successful in her craft, to say, with peace and love, I'm not gonna read your book. I'm not gonna read your book. It just left a really sour taste in my mouth, and the author, she then stitched that video and replied, and she explained herself, and she seems like a really sweet person. She's like my age. No. She's still in her 20s. Like, she's really successful. Imagine being a full-time author in your 20s. How slay is that? It takes people years to be as successful as she is already. You know what I mean? Like, she's achieved a lot already. But Mr. Ben can't comprehend that. And I just thought this was so... It just came across as so nasty. You know what I mean? Why is he putting his energy into this? And people in Tattle Life pointed out, in the same way, perhaps we should question Jack reading 7 books in 7 days or 8 books in 24 hours. I'd happily question how much of these books he has retained, how much value they brought him, and how much space did he leave to critically contemplate and fairly judge their contents. And I think that sums it up perfectly. Again, he deleted this. He hopes people will forget, just like the membership thing. Now I pointed it out again. I pointed it out again that this happened. I brought it back into everyone's memory. But I just truly feel like I just feel like he's nasty. I don't fuck with him. I don't fuck with his vibe. I don't fuck with his content. I think he tries really hard to have this image, but it just doesn't work. And I also want to point out something that I found really interesting that made me stop doing the dishes, because I was watching the Jordan Teresa video that he did with her, where he mentioned that he doesn't watch TV and he doesn't have a TV, even though he wants to be a screenwriter, allegedly. And I was doing the dishes while I let that video play, because I was like, maybe he's going to say something that's relevant to this video that I can talk about. And I was, again, let me reiterate, I was doing the dishes. And I was playing it on a laptop. And the laptop was on the desk. And I was doing the dishes, and so I was a few meters away, but I was listening because it's a podcast, supposed to be a podcast that she does. And let me quote him. This is not a literal quote. This is like, summa summarum. I don't know the words in English. This is kind of what he said. In the Jordan Teresa video, he states that when he was younger, and this video was 8 months ago, by the way, he used to comment on so many things and run his mouth, and that he doesn't do it anymore, because he just has so much peace in his life. So he keeps it to himself, which doesn't fit this situation at all. He says that at the end. Because they were talking about if BookTok is performative. And so I think the question was like, do you think that BookTok is bad or something like that? And then he goes on to say, I used to run my mouth all the time, respond to everything, but now I'm just so peaceful. Like, I'm just in such a good point in my life. And it makes me wonder, like, are you not anymore? Have you lost that peace from 8 months ago that you were so proudly championing in that video? Like, you always have to be so careful what you say on the internet, especially if you're such a big creator, because people will hold you accountable. And it made me pause in my tracks when I heard him say that, because I was like, this motherfucker has the nerves to say something like this, to pretend like this is him, and then make a video attacking this poor lady who seems to be really sweet. Peace and love. Like, I watched some of the TikToks that she made. I was like, okay, slay, girl. You know, if I could be a full-time author, I would be. I feel like, I mean, all jobs come with consequences and burnout and stuff like that, but I would still prefer it over a normal job. You know what I mean? Like working in retail as I am currently. Yet again, proves he has never worked in retail. I don't really know how that proves it, but it's just the vibe that I'm getting. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. This was absolutely unnecessary. I'm sure she kind of felt like her, how do you say, her heart slide into her pants, is how you say in German. Herz in die Hose gerutscht. Heart slides into your pants. When she saw that video and realized that it was about her. And I'm not sure if she got any backlash from it because of the video. I don't think so. I don't know though for sure. But she must have really felt like just like icky about it and be like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, why did he feel the need to make this? I truly cannot understand why he would feel the need to make a video like that and then double down in the comments defending himself and then just deleting it and never mentioning it again. That's so nasty and fake to me. Honestly, congrats to you, Ben, for the success you have garnered for pretending to be the BookTok resident congrats to you, and I hope nothing bad happens to you. Just for me, all of it seems a little bit hypocritical, and again, if he's a creator that you like watching because for whatever reason you like the books he reads or you like whatever commentary he does eventually give on them, not compared to Fourth Wing, which I saw, which is the only one I can really judge because again I'm the Fourth Wing expert, as we know, then that's great. I wouldn't judge anyone for saying that he's a creator they like. It's whatever at the end of the day, but just this whole situation proved to me that he is not a person that whose content I will be consuming, and that he is someone that I think is a little bit in his head too much. Over his head? Is that how you say it? In over his head. And a little bit conceited is also the vibe I get. But that is just my opinion. Again, everything I said in this video was alleged. And I just wanted to give you all of the background information to prove to you that everything he is saying maybe comes from a place of jealousy because he can't seem to finish his fuck ass book. I'm so happy we have gotten through this. This was a long filming process for me, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please be respectful. This is no hate to Ben. I just don't like you. I think you should work on yourself. And again, if you want to talk about the situation, please also use the name Ben. I'm not going to put his name anywhere. I'm not going to put in the hashtags or anything. I hope he never finds this. Otherwise, he will also make a video on me. That will be prompted. The video on Beth was unprompted, but this I would understand. But yeah, again, my next read, I don't know yet. I'm going to put up the poll tonight for my members. Thank you again to everybody that is a member. Thank you to all the book haters for being here. I love you. And thank you for supporting me. I hope you are happy with the membership and the perks you are receiving. And you're not going to make a Reddit snark post about me. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Thank you for supporting me. You're the best. You're the greatest. You're the GOAT. You are the greatest of all time. You are my book haters. You are my boo-boos. I call everyone a boo-boo. You're my boo-boos. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you stay happy. You stay healthy. Peace and love. I have to make sure that you can see. And hopefully, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.